You get away from that. It's a mental illness. Being a sports fan is absolutely a mental illness. It's crazy. When you have grown men screaming and fucking yelling, I mean, it's not normal. It's a complete.
But that's why it's fun, though.
Yeah, and that's
like I've been thinking about that too. Is like, I really do think when people are like allowed to come to games again, like and go to sporting events, like it's gonna be absolute like insanity. People like aren't gonna know what to do with themselves. They're gonna be so happy. Like players are gonna be happy.
Like they pipe in the noise, so like for the most part, it sounded the same. It looked a little funny, but I'm a Mets fan. I've seen plenty of empty seats in my life before. For the most part, it's like whatever. When you're out there on the field and it's just like dead silent except for like the pop of the
it's not the same.
It's got to be so weird, right?
Yeah, it's just weird. It's not really end game. It's like before the game, like when you're going to warm up or you like come out of the clubhouse and like you go into the dugout for the first time. Like usually there's like 40,000 people in the stands. Like there's the energy in the stadium before like a game starts, and it's just like
nothing,
white noise, and like the other team's getting loose. It feels like it just doesn't feel like sports, I guess you could say.
Yeah. It's like practice.
Everybody's doing the best. Everyone's doing the best they can, and I will say, like the more we played and the more the season went on, like the more you kind of just like got used to it.
Yeah.
The shock factor wore off, and I can't remember, we were playing like opening day in Wrigley Field, and like there's nobody there, and like usually like this place is going wild. They're booing you. Everybody's talking shit. Like it's awesome. Like it's super fun place to be, and then it's just like white noise, and there's like 5 cardboard people.
Is that why you suck this year, or did you stop doing the steroids?
I don't know what happened.
Yo, what happened? I mean, now I will not allow anybody to play the coronavirus thing as like a full cop out, but
no,
kind of the way I started off with this though, being like, if anybody told me in any profession, in any walk of life this year, that they were like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm just going to try to tread water and just get to next year when things are back to normal, I wouldn't begrudge you at all. Like, on some level, it probably had to creep into your mind a little bit, no?
I mean, I don't know. Looking back on it, like when you're going through it, you're kind of just like trying to not drown. Like you're trying to stay above water and like just somehow like play well till the end of the season, and then kind of look back on it and be like, all right, what the fuck?
What the fuck? I feel like there's nothing in this world worse than a baseball slump where you just like.
So like, if I had to guess, like, if I want to put an explanation on it, like this by no means is like an excuse. Like I had every opportunity to play good, didn't play good, like COVID notwithstanding, like whatever, everybody had to play under the same rules. Like guys had good seasons during this year, so it's not a cop out. But
right.
Like if I have to, like, having enough time to like look back on it and be like, all right, like where did we go wrong here? What happened? You kind of like look. For me, I think just having to like self-analyze it, and like I really do think I'm going to do better next year, is just spring training for me was so weird. Like my off season going into it was so weird. Of like, I broke my kneecap, so I didn't have a regular off season. I was rehabbing the entire time instead of like lifting, doing my normal off season routine. Like when you get ready for spring training, all that's kind of pushed back. I played 2 games in spring training because I was doing the whole contract thing, so I wasn't really playing until that was done.
Right.
But for pretty obvious reasons, I was still taking batting practice and like doing the drills in the morning. But for as far as games, I wasn't playing. So then I played 2, and then COVID happens and shuts down spring, and then just didn't do anything. Like worked out a little bit, but didn't do any baseball stuff again for 2 months because you couldn't, because the whole world was stopped.
That's what I mean.
And then came back and had the 3 weeks of summer camp, and like usually that'd be enough to get behind. I came back and like was just everything felt like shit in summer camp. Like swing, everything was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was gonna go like that.
Not good.
Like, in summer camp, like I played so bad in summer camp. Like I was awful in like the 3-week summer camp we had.
Yeah.
And the inter squad games, I was like, oh shit, like this, like maybe it's gonna be fine, but like this isn't a good way to start it,
That's
so like
gotta be a scary feeling.
Well, and usually you'd have 6 weeks to figure it out, so it was like 3, and then so it was like, all right, like the first week, it's like, we're getting back into it. It's been like a little weird, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Like we'll keep working at it, and just like couldn't ever find it, and it was just like that slump feeling. and then just snowballed, and then
it's a short season, so you don't have the time to work through it.
Then you're like opening
Blink.
days here. You're like, all right, and then opening day came. You're like, all right, well, like we're playing a different team now. Like it's the season. Like the lights are on. Like maybe that's going to be your saving grace, but it's a weird feeling going into a season. And you're just like shit. Like I think it's going to be fine. You know, like you're always confident. Like for me, I never thought like I was going to play badly. You're always like, all right, like
it'll just work. It'll just
it'll like I'll figure it out. Like, you know, like it's gonna come back. And I started like 1 for 30 or something. I was like, we got 60 games, and now we got like 50 games. Like usually you have, you know, usually you have like 100 more to go after the season, and you're like, it kind of baseball goes kind of like this. And
absolutely.
At the end of the season, like, you know, if you have like a prolonged stretch where you're not doing well, like your numbers might be a little bit down that year. But for the most part, they're kind of going to be in line with your career when you've played for that many seasons. Like maybe if it's like your second season, like maybe like you just got figured out, you know, and like that's what happened. But I don't know. I mean, man.
Like if you in a regular season with 100 more games, you probably would have ended up raising your average like 75 more points and hitting like fucking 20 more home runs, and it would have been a little down, but you would have been like, all right, I got there. But that's why I'm saying,
you're like, all right, this is doable. I mean, you still have 450 at bats to go in a regular season, you know, like
that's a lot of
that's a lot, you know. And so you just kind of chalk it up to like, all right, you know, like, hey, shit didn't go my way this year. It wasn't for lack of effort and not trying, but hey, you know, like it's pro sports, man. Sometimes you're not going to have a unbelievable season